Hello, beautiful people. I'm Earth Mother D, and this is Earth Mother D TV, where holistic healing meets creativity. So, today we're going to be doing a full moon reading. The full moon is in the sign of Aries, and it is happening actually right now as I'm doing this reading. All right, so I am going to start with my Secrets of the Ancestors deck to guide this reading. All right, Source, what would you like for me to relay to the collective? What message would you like for me to relay to them? What would you like for me? Okay, so two of them came out. All right, we're gonna go with these. So we have the matriarch and the twins. Okay, and for the matriarch, it says nurture the harvest. Ooh. And then for the twins, it says cautious connections. And then we have the number 3 and 6, which reduces to the number, not reduces, but adds up to the number 9. That makes sense because the full moon is normally about completion, things ending, specifically cycles. So, okay, looks like that's going to be the theme of this reading. That's normally the case when I do full moon readings, but let's see. So first we're going to read the matriarch. Okay, so the matriarch nurtured the harvest. You are fertile with possibilities. You are safe and blessed. Ashe. Have faith in your ability to bring forth beauty, prosperity, and harmonious relationships. Allow yourself to tap into your creative potential and explore creative outlets. Nurture yourself and others with kindness, compassion, and love. Free yourself from the need to justify your existence. You are the heir to the fortune of wealth that the matriarch ancestor brings. Will you allow yourself to receive your riches? Will you allow the blessings in? I sure will. Okay, so for the ancestral memory for this card, it says the matriarch is depicted by a Maasai elder overlooking her beloved village of Burkina Faso. This ancestral energy is loving, charismatic, fertile, beautiful, nurturing, and rooted in divine feminine. The matriarch is deeply connected to Mother Nature, and you are the child wrapped in the safety of her loving bosom. Okay, so for the ancestral medicine, for many of your ancestors, vulnerability was not allowed. Ooh. Allow yourself now to be vulnerable in their honor and to honor yourself, my child. We are taking care of you and yours. Trust in the sumptuous abundance that surrounds you and cultivate gratitude for the blessings. Oh, wow. I'm getting emotional. This is really good. Oh, see, I knew it. Okay, so the tarot card, the traditional tarot card correspondence for this card is the Empress. I felt that like that's what it was. Because in the pre-shuffle that I did, the Empress popped out a few times. I felt like that makes sense. Okay, so the declaration for this card is, I am nurturing, abundant, and fertile with possibilities. I love that. Okay, so For the twins, cautious connections, it says, you deserve to be loved fully and completely on your terms. Check in with your closest relationships. What needs to be addressed? Are you at a crossroads? The twin ancestors show up together to represent love of all kinds. Familial, romantic, divine, and self-love. The twins are heart-led, passionate, and crave connection. Bring your whole self to all loving unions. You are worthy just as you are. Oh my God. Okay, so the ancestral memory for this one. The twins are depicted by the ancient, I know I'm going to butcher this, but I'll put the names in the video. I'll edit it in. But it says Morasa, Jummunix, twin Iowa deities of Haiti, renowned for their healing powers. Ooh. Okay, so the ancestral medicine is, my child, there are those in your bloodline who didn't know love or who consider it a frivolity. Do not let this be your inheritance. Breaking generational curses. Okay, and the tarot correspondence for this card is the Lovers. And the declaration is, I am worth loving and I am love. I'm picking up on some specific people that this reading is for. I hope they see it. All right, so that's that. Nurture the harvest. Yeah. Okay, so let's pull some tarot. Spirit, what would you like for me to relay to the collective? What message would you like for me to relay to the collective for this full moon reading? Ooh. We got some fear energy coming out. Or more so, well, yes, fear, but because you've been through things. Makes sense. We all go through it. All right. Oh. Just 3? Okay. We'll start with these 3. Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands, and then we have the 8 of Wands, and then the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, so I think the focus for this message is going to be relationships, feeling worthy of those relationships, all forms, romantic, family, friends, business, healthy relationships, healthy connections, vulnerability, and what was it? I just had it. Okay. I lost it. Maybe it'll come back. But yeah, so vulnerability and relationships, being worthy of those relationships. Feeling worthy of those relationships. Yeah, so this is definitely somebody who is afraid of being vulnerable. So these wands in the back can be seen as situations that this person went through that caused them to be afraid of vulnerability. But the lack of vulnerability it's causing you to miss out. And it's keeping you in this space where it's like you're hitting a plateau with certain connections because you're not willing to be vulnerable. You can only go so far. You can only go so far. Well, whoever this is for, you want to go further. You do. You want deeper relationships. But it is going to require you to be vulnerable. And to decide that you are worthy. Even if you feel like you still have things to work on. Because you don't have to do anything to be worthy of love. It's your birthright. It's automatic. Genuinely, like, you don't have to change yourself in any way. You know, love is free. A lot of people try to give it a price, but it's not supposed to cost anything. And you may want to give love, or you may be in this space where you feel like you have to be very transactional with love, essentially. Because of the fact that you've given your love to people in the past and you feel like it got thrown back in your face, like things just didn't work out, that person did not treat you right. But you know, we can't control how people treat us. We can't. So it's useless trying to. And that can also cause a lot of mental turmoil trying to control what somebody else does. Yes, so that is why the Empress came out in the pre-shuffle, and then this card came out. This is the Empress in another form. The Empress gives love freely. The Empress loves herself. She feels worthy of love. And she gives it, and she's able to be vulnerable as well without fear, because she knows that other people's reaction to her vulnerability and her love is not her problem. She can't control how people respond. But she's also not worried. And she's not taking it personal how that person responds. She's not taking it personal at all. She's not internalizing that. She's saying, okay, you responded like this. This okay? You're on your own journey. That's fine. I'm gonna keep moving on my journey, right? So yes, some of you really have to work on releasing trauma associated with your vulnerability being taken for granted, not being appreciated, being thrown back in your face. The person just, maybe wasn't deep enough with themselves, so they couldn't really receive your vulnerability. They didn't really know what to do with it. You not being open to being vulnerable is kind of keeping you like in this state of like lack when it comes to your relationships. So what is what is this? Okay. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, these wands in the back are like past situations that has made you afraid of vulnerability, right? But then this 8 of Wands is these 8 wands that are in the back, okay? And this 8 of Wands coming out represents you taking those situations and changing your perspective on them. Yes, you've dealt with people that treated you a certain way, where it has you afraid of being vulnerable, but also it's important to think about, okay, what did I learn from these situations? It's like, instead of just focusing on the negative, and just only talking about, okay, these situations led me to this place where I cannot be vulnerable. It's very hard for me. This card is calling you to take some time to think about the positives. Like, what did you gain from these different situations? How can you use that to help you presently? It's like you need to you need to change your mindset. Essentially, I'm trying to figure out a good way to say this. Okay, I tried not to say this, but I keep hearing victim mentality. So it's like somebody has been in victim mentality for quite some time. And there also may have been things that you did in the past that maybe you either haven't recognized just yet, or you have recognized things that you did in a situation were more like, so like you were the problem, or you caused your own issues, and either you don't see it yet, or you see it and you're having a hard time accepting that it wasn't just the people that were involved in these situations, that in some of these situations it was also you. And that's fine. It's fine. It's okay. We're not always right. Sometimes we are the problem. And it's important to recognize that. Because when you can see what you're doing wrong, and when you can take accountability, that is very, 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 very fertile ground. That's when you really take off. It's a lot of people that's stuck right now because they do not see the error of their own ways. They cannot evolve, and they're in this energy. Lack. Unhappy. This is interesting. Yeah, so whoever this is for, you really want to focus on for some of you, your task during this full moon, and of course beyond that, of course, we're not just doing it on the full moon, but the full moon is something that can bring our attention to these things. But for some of you, your task is to understand the root of why it's hard for you to be vulnerable. And then for some of you, you already know. And your task is more so to think about some ways that you can start putting yourself out there so that you can have these opportunities to be vulnerable. Because that's really the only way that you're going to get comfortable with being vulnerable again, is by actually putting yourself out there. You can't learn to be vulnerable if you're constantly in hermit mode. And this goes for, you know, all types of situations, you know, whether it's romantic, friends, family, all of that, work. You gotta put yourself out there. And, you know, you don't want to get stuck in the, like, preparation phase. You don't want to get stuck in that. Or like the awareness phase. Right? When you have the awareness, then you figure out, okay, what can I do? Then that's when you do the prep. And that's when you actually go out in the field and actually put it to the test. Okay? You know, you're afraid of being seen. For some of you, like, that's like the scariest shit ever. For you to be seen, your emotional self to be seen by other people. Because you have been convinced that you being soft and nurturing and vulnerable is weak. And simply because people didn't receive you being like that very well. But, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, people can only go as deep with you as they have gone with themselves. So it's never about you, it's about them. This was very specific. Yeah, if you want those deeper connections, those very abundant connections, you're gonna have to be vulnerable. That's the cost. I know some of you are probably like, well, fuck that, but eventually it'll get to a point where you will, eventually it'll get to a point where your desire to make these connections will be stronger than your desire to avoid the uncomfortableness that comes with being vulnerable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're just gonna have to do it, honestly. The only way out is through. And then as you get comfortable with that, you're able to have these deeper connections. These very abundant connections. very positive, very happy. At least that's how it's going to have you feeling, because when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you offer somebody the opportunity to be there for you as well, right? So you're able to get this emotional and mental support that you need and you yearn for. A lot of you are like emotionally starved because you're not allowing other people in. So they can't be there for you. You can't really connect with them. Okay, what is this? Let's see. So we have the Five of Wands that came out. Let's see what that is. What is this Five of Wands? Because that's a little... The Fool. Oh, okay. So that's what I originally thought. So 5 is the number of change in numerology. And that is confirmed by the Fool. New beginnings. This could be you. This is you putting yourself out there so that you have those opportunities to be vulnerable and to build these deeper, healthy connections that you yearn for. And you might feel foolish, but that's just like the trauma that you experienced coming back up. And it's going to be like that for a while. You're going to be uncomfortable because you were so used to not being vulnerable, staying to yourself, staying in your shell. But, be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Don't put too much on yourself at once. If you do need to take a step back, that's fine, right? Just because you're putting yourself out there now doesn't mean that you just have to stay out there. You can also kind of like come back in. You can go out the house and you can come back in, rest, recuperate, self-reflect, and then get back out there. And that's fine. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you got to do something. You just give a little bit each time. It's like each time you go back out the house, it's like you accomplish something bigger than you did the day before or the week before, Okay. Yeah, because people are going to want to offer you mental and emotional support. People are going to want to be there for you. But if you're too hung up thinking about what other people did to you and how other shit didn't work out and how other people said they would be there and they weren't there. If you're too worried about the past shit, then you're going to miss this. Or you're going to end up pushing that person away or those people away. Yeah. Look at that. Aries coming out in the reading. All right, lovelies. Well, that is the reading. I hope that this was helpful. As some of you already know, I am a psychic medium and I give spiritual readings with the use of tarot. So if you would like a personal reading, I'm going to put my information below and we can get that going for you. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you beautiful people next week.